Welcome to Behind Every Booking, the podcast that unlocks the potential of your hotel business with insights, stories, and strategies for success. I'm Radka Telyčková, your host, and I'm thrilled to take you behind the scenes of the fascinating world of hospitality. Let's dive in. I've dedicated my career to helping hotels optimize their revenue and create unforgettable guest experiences. So what's coming up on Behind Every Booking? I'll be sharing real-world success stories from my clients. We'll dive into actionable strategies for increasing direct bookings, optimizing revenue, and streamlining operations. If you wish to join my community, check the link in the description under the episode, and let's make some magic happen together.
In this episode, I would like to talk about something we so often forget in the hotel world: celebrating success. Because we are so busy with operating hotel 24/7 that we don't have a time, or we don't take the time to do so. And I'm not talking about the big milestones like big and hitting the budget, but the small one, everyday wins that show we are growing, evolving, and doing our best even on hard days. This week, I'm celebrating something very personal and very special. My podcast received a special jury award. They call it like Rookie of the Year in the Corporate Podcast of the Year competition here in the Czech Republic. But let me tell you the full story. Launching my English podcast, Behind Every Booking, wasn't easy at all. It took me almost 9 months, with the long breaks in between, just to find out the right name. It's crazy, isn't it? I already have a Czech podcast called Úspěšný hotel, which means successful hotel. But this is quite not right for the audience to reach you out, what I wanted. So this is why I just said, okay, I'm going to do the English one. And last year, I submitted my Czech podcast to the Corporate Podcast of the Year competition. They evaluated podcasts across 5 categories: audio production, video production, best host, long-term impact, and absolute winner. And when I was driving back home from Prague, I, listened to a few of them, those winners. Oh my God, these are so great podcasts. And I'm really happy that I was able to meet the winners and talk to them about their production, how they do the things, how they think about the topics, and how they enjoy it and how they produce it. Because sometimes we are producing, the podcast from home, like home office podcast production, and sometimes we go to the podcast studio. It's really nice. But let me just talk about how it goes, okay? So there have been those 5 categories, and my podcast wasn't nominated in any of them. And I was somehow feeling there must be something, even for me. My mom, she was kind of almost like giving up, and she said like, well, 5 categories are gone, Radko, well, now it's time to go home. And I said, like, well, there must be something. And there was something. So the jury created a special award and gave it to me. Why? Because my podcast had the potential to be in every category. But in each one, it just missed the final cut. There was something little small missing, right? So can you imagine that you are striving and you are trying to make the best, and still, few little small points are missing. Now it may sound like a consolation prize, but out of 29 submitted podcasts, only 5 were awarded in the main categories, and I was the 6th one. To me, it was a huge success, and I'm incredibly proud of it. Because my Czech podcast, I launched it in July 2023, so it will be almost like 2 years. And I was kind of really playing how to, deal with the production of my podcast, because I record my episodes sometimes at home, sometimes I'm renting out the podcast studio in Prague. This year I was also renting the podcast studio in Budapest. So I really enjoyed the whole production, and I would like to make every single episode to be a little bit different. And you may also see it in the English podcast, right? So every episode is a little bit different. And I want you to have a fun and not to be boring. And if you cannot really have a fun, so then at least you have to learn something. So as I mentioned, behind every episode, there are hours of planning, learning, refining, my podcast is the mix. So you'll find a solo podcast, interviews. Sometimes this is purely educational. And I really love the diversity and opportunity to explore new formats and new ideas. In the beginning of the episode, I was talking about that we should celebrate the success. So let me just talk about the success, right? As a part of this award process, I had to film 1-minute video profile for the audience. And this is when I realized there is still a lot to learn. And creating this 1-minute video, it was not a success, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. You can imagine, I was not able to simply talk to the camera like normal. It was so... you can imagine how this could look like when you freeze. You can speak on a stage in front of 400 people. I can create online courses, host podcasts, be a guest in a podcast, be so natural. But when I sit before that camera and there was no teleprompter, I really I was not able to say a word, and it was really horrible. The filming this short video took me 30 minutes, and in the end, they even cut the second half. So it was most likely not watchable at all. And imagine that you are sitting in the audience, you are getting the award, and they are not showing your introduction. For the others, they have been showing it, and for me, not. So I can really say it was disaster and it was not a success. But on the other side, progress over perfection, right? So I just, took this experience as a great success for me to acknowledge that there is still space for improvement. And I wish for you to have the same feeling, whatever is happening negative in your hotel. Acknowledge that, accept that this is actually happening and that there is a space for growth. And then you are learning from this and you are turning this negativity into the positivity. If you do so, if you change your mindset around that, then you will be very much successful. You will be able to reach your budget. You will be able to, deal better with the negative reviews. You will be, better leader to your team, because there is nothing wrong, not doing anything or everything perfect. And now I want to turn the spotlight to you. What are you celebrating this week? Did you hit your hotel budget or daily budget? Or maybe a guest leave a 5-star review and it really made your day. So I want you to share it in your newsletter. I want you to post it proudly on the social media. And imagine that you have been launching after many months your new website, because there have been some delays and that you didn't really made it as you wanted. And I want you to dance. I want you let everybody know that you have just made your success, that you have managed that little small thing. I want you to be very proud to your team. I want you to celebrate your incredible growth in the team. I want you to acknowledge them. Let them know that you see how far they have gone and that you appreciate them for who they are. Little small success, even though it's coming from the negative experience, is a great success to celebrate. Or maybe you just had a quiet moment that you felt, oh, we got it. I want you to show the gratitude to yourself, even though some moments could be really tough. Sometimes that what feels negative is actually a blessing or learning lesson. And we are here to learn from that and to grow. So every negative lesson is here to help us to grow. The small wins are the most powerful. And every successful hotel, and your success is inevitable, means that you are enjoying every single small win. And the thing is, what you are grateful for today. Okay? So I'm inviting you to slow down and celebrate in your team. Forget some, from time to time, what's going on in this world, if the bookings are coming in, if they are not coming in, if the revenue is, if you are draining in whatever situation and then it's not happening for you, but it's happening, but we don't see the little small wins. So celebrate them, celebrate your people, celebrate yourself. Say thank you, even for the tough parts. They are shaping you in the ways you fully don't maybe see at this moment yet. So this week is about the gratitude and celebration because, I won it. I'm really happy. And I'm happy also for you because you are here with me. You are listening to this podcast and you are maybe driving a car. So have a safe drive home, okay? Wherever you go, enjoy the journey. And, I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining me on this journey together. If you're as excited as I am about making every booking count, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And if you've got a question or topic you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. Let's connect on Instagram or LinkedIn. If you wish to join my community, check the link in the description under the episode. I wish to kindly ask you to do 2 things. Share the podcast with others who may find it helpful, and subscribe so it becomes a trending favorite among hoteliers and those who fell in love with this industry.